Hey guys, just a quick update video about a really random but pretty interesting piece of news. Today it came out that Square Enix had confirmed that Dragon Quest XI is going to be released on the PlayStation 4 and the 3DS. I think sometime next year in 2016. Pretty random platforms to choose from. I think it's very interesting that there's both PlayStation 4, one of the three current-gen consoles, and then also the 3DS, which is nowhere near the same architecture, is going to be getting a version of Dragon Quest XI. Of course, Dragon Quest is one of the hugest JRPG series of all time. In Japan, it does the equivalent of what Call of Duty or Halo, for example, does here in the States. It is like their bread and butter, one of the biggest, most successful things that they have going on. Every Dragon Quest game is a huge deal. People line up around the block several times over to pick up the newest iteration, no matter what it's for. I remember when Dragon Quest VIII, I want to say, was coming out on the PlayStation 2, and that was a mammoth release, man. Even in the States, it was actually a big deal. I was just wrapping up my time working for GameStop as a manager, actually, at that time. And Dragon Quest VIII was a really big deal, and all people were talking about at that time was that, and this again, this is circa, 2006, I want to say, 2007 maybe. At the time, people would say, man, Dragon Quest in Japan is what Halo is. Because at that time, Halo was like the big chief, the big captain that was doing all the big crazy sales and midnight openings and stuff at that time. So Dragon Quest is a big deal. Dragon Quest X, I think, was a Wii game that never made it over to North America. And now Dragon Quest XI, as I said, PlayStation 4 and 3DS. And it also turns out that Square Enix is considering the Nintendo NX. So I really just wanted to talk about this piece of news, not because it's a rumor that they're going to make this game for the NX, or even that it's confirmed that they're going to make this game for the NX. I just think it's really fascinating that it's something that they are considering. The fact that the NX is officially being brought on board as a platform that could be on the table for a studio to develop its game for is really surprising, I guess, more in the sense that it's being made public than anything. I think that's the real key here. Okay, so I've talked a couple of times about some of the rumors about whether or not the NX is going to come out in 2016 or 2017 or beyond. If it's going to come out in 2016, is it coming out as early as the summer, a year from now? Or would it still come out just at the very end of the year? Maybe it would come out earlier in the year. There's a lot of rumors and speculation and some small pieces of evidence that point to all these different time frames that we could actually see the NX launching. Now, what really is crazy to me is that regardless of when it comes out, first of all, I think 2016 is far too early. You've heard me say that. And if it is going to be 2016, it should be no earlier than November 2016. I think any earlier than that is insane, and it makes me really nervous for what the system it would actually be capable of if it was going to come out that early. That being said, regardless of when the platform may be coming out, we don't know anything about it. We've heard nothing again but speculation and rumor, even about what the system could be. There's talk that Nintendo was shopping it around to developers at E3, and the reception and the buzz was very positive, but how finite of a prototype or a dev kit or even just hard numbers could anyone possibly have on the NX, because I think it's pretty far off. And so I can't believe that anyone would even be talking about it as a platform to develop for. I feel like it's way too early. Nintendo hasn't even talked about it. How could Square Enix be talking about it? And again, I'm not refuting this because this is not a rumor. This is like an actual thing. I mean, they are considering the platform. So again, the rumor isn't, oh, maybe they're considering the platform, or the rumor isn't, oh, the game is going to come out for the NX, rumored. No, the actual fact is, it's a platform that Square has talked to Nintendo about, I guess, or vice versa, and it could potentially be a platform that this game comes out on. I think it's crazy. It seems way too early. I can't believe that it took another third-party company to bring up the NX as a viable platform to develop a game for, way before Nintendo tells us even a goddamn thing about it. We don't know anything. We just know a code name. That's it. No other hard facts. There's nothing but guesses by people. And, I do have to say, I don't really think this is a bad thing. So I don't want to make it sound like I'm like bashing this idea. I mean, Dragon Quest XI is going to be a huge title, and I like the idea of it coming out on Nintendo's next-gen platform. The fact that it would be a game that, one of the most storied developers in the industry, regardless of their most recent track record, still, they're one of the longest-running developers, and they've made some of the best and most memorable games in the history of gaming. And the fact that these guys would be able to develop their newest, biggest, best game for the PlayStation 4 alongside the NX does tell us that the system would have to be about as powerful as the PlayStation 4, and in my in my theory and in what I really want is for the system to be more powerful than the PlayStation 4. So, you know, there were some rumors circulating that the system was going to be not as powerful, and I think that that would have been really unfortunate if that was the case. And granted, we still don't know, but the fact that it's being considered alongside the PS4 version tells us that Nintendo might have done some of the right things with the architecture and the components of the NX. So that's really interesting. Again, it doesn't say that for sure, but it certainly seems like that could be the case. So, you know, for Square to take this game and release it on the NX and make it for that, it just shows that the right companies are looking at making the right kinds of games for Nintendo's next console, and we all know that that's something that Nintendo has struggled with the past couple of generations, and it would be really nice to know a company like Square Enix could get back on board with Nintendo's home console market and be willing to make a game like this that is going to be such a huge, high-profile release and release it on Nintendo's next console. Whereas if this was happening today, you know, they wouldn't consider releasing it on the Wii U. Like, third-party developers don't believe in the Wii U, and they don't like that platform, and I think it sucks, but it is what it is. And so, again, although it's hard for me to kind of really understand why this is happening, it's not a bad thing, and I'm hoping that this bodes well for what the NX is capable of and how Nintendo might be working with third-party relationships going forward, and hopefully have really understood, God damn it, you need these. And I know a lot of people who I know and like and trust really have, I guess, taken issue with the idea of Nintendo having to, quote unquote, not my words, but other people's words, rely on third parties because third parties have some of the worst business practices in the industry. And, you know, no one should have to rely on the way that people run those businesses. And while I agree with a lot of that, obviously some third parties have made major issues, and a lot of the trends in the industry today I don't like, and I have enjoyed that Nintendo has stayed away from those. I don't think that working with third parties and repairing those relationships would be necessarily relying on them, so much as it is making yourself relevant the way you need to be super successful in today's industry. You need everything that Nintendo does as far as innovation, quirky ideas, first-party content, you know, avoiding some of these bad business practices that other companies do. You need that stuff, but having a robust and very relevant third-party library is extremely important. And unfortunately, it's a really hard lesson that I think Nintendo learned with the Wii U, a system that I love to death. You know that. You've heard me say it, but I always repeat these things for anyone who may find the channel via any new video I make. I love the Wii U. It's my favorite platform of anything available currently, but there's no doubt that it's struggled, and Nintendo has made some key mistakes, and the third-party relationship thing is one of them. So repairing this going forward with the NX is a great thing for them to do. Seeing Square Enix potentially consider making one of their biggest games for the NX alongside the PlayStation 4 bodes very, very well for the future. Granted, it doesn't confirm a lot of the things that we may want to be happening with the NX, so it all is still up in the air, and it remains to be seen as we get more information over the next year or two. But like I said, it just bodes well. I liked hearing this. It's strange information. The whole thing is weird, and I don't understand why Square Enix is talking about it before Nintendo does. I don't really know what it means that they're considering the platform. And, of course, the fact that they're considering also means that, for all we know, the game doesn't even end up coming out on the NX. Maybe Square Enix decides not to do it. But it is certainly nice to know that they're considering it. Of course, they have they have a lot of the same folks internally with Square Enix working on both the console and the 3DS version of the game, but there are a couple key members from different internal studios, I think, that are being contracted out or what have you, that are working on the 3DS version as a portable version and then the console version as its own console version. I think they did also confirm that the PS4 version is going to be using the Unity engine, which is pretty, or was it, no, I'm sorry, not the Unity engine, I'm an idiot, it's the Unreal 4 engine, my bad. It's going to be using Unreal 4, and it would be really great to see that running on the Nintendo NX as well, whatever the hell that system turns out to be. So it's weird because we just don't know anything about the NX, so this is a very strange story to talk about, but I don't know, man. You know, those are my ideas, those are my thoughts. I think that this could hopefully spell good things for the NX going forward. It's a good early sign of where things might be headed. Granted, the keyword there is might, but it certainly feels good to talk about something that could actually become a Nintendo NX game already. So what do you guys think about this? You know, are you excited about this idea? Are you not? Are you just as miffed and confused by the fact that this even happened today as I am? Share your thoughts below. I always like to hear what you guys have to say, especially when it comes to Nintendo NX news, man. People gobble that stuff up. There's a lot going on there. It's nice to talk about something that isn't a rumor, even though it's not concrete information. It's also, you know, it's, as far as, I guess, a title coming out on the system, but it isn't a rumor, and that feels pretty good. So tell me what you guys think. Thanks, as always, for watching. This, of course, is Rob of Rule of Two Review, and I will catch you guys next time on another video.